everybody, and welcome to Diane Actually Writes, where we are actually going to get some writing done today. At least that is the plan. Welcome to the writers from Harold's Table. Good to see you. Hi, James. Always first in the chat, which is awesome. He shows up like half an hour early, usually. So that's always kind of fun. Lapping for life. I'm getting faster at that. I see. Oh, thank you for the hydrate check. Oh, and I forgot. Okay, no, I have hydrate. Hail hydrate. Thank you, Moonflower. And posture check is good. This chair is not the best. My other chair is like getting cleaned, so I'm like using a temporary chair, but it works. Save check. I haven't even started yet, man. But that's cool. Yeah, I noticed that James used the command function. That's !command, right? It'll give you apparently two different things to look at for commands. It's the MooBot one that you want, not the stream elements, because that's where I put them all. Just a sec here. I gotta turn off my heater. I keep forgetting to do that. I have a space heater in this room because normally it gets very cold in here at night, and it heats the rest of the house a bit better if I keep it on, but does not work when I'm sitting right above the air vent. So it gets pretty hot in here with my door shut. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Some people are very cold right now, and that's not a good thing. Speaking of which, has anybody heard from Author Goddess since yesterday? Because she's in Texas. Last I heard, her pipes had frozen. And I didn't see her, I don't think, all day yesterday. And she wasn't at her stream last night. And it's not like her to miss her schedule. I might, she won't. Right? So, I'm a little concerned. You always say it's writing day, Sable, says Daz, and you always stray. Yeah, it's true. But, you know, usually there's a couple minutes for people to set in. But I got plans today. So let's see if I can say hi to everybody. Hello to Harold, of course. Always a pleasure. Right? And hi, Geeks Anonymous. Good to see you too. I saw that you were streaming earlier, but I did not make your stream because I was in the process of trying to get some editing done. Blue Sky Blackbird is here. Hello. Always a pleasure. I don't think I've seen you for a bit. How are you doing? Harold put me here because he is fighting off the sharks now. I heard something vaguely. Aaron was watching Harold's stream, and I heard something about Sharknado. I don't know. And then I saw him making these awesome aliens. You know, the grays or the blues, maybe. Right? I say go with the red eyes. I don't know what the vote ended up on, but because I was just catching that here as I was setting up. And but I say go with the red eyes because then they look like the Fantastic Planet aliens, which are creepy as fuck. Yeah, and I said hello to Daz already. Kayetan says, you won't believe what happened in Polish Parliament. Yeah, I will. I'll believe anything these days in politics. Candidate for the Ombudsman was being interviewed, and for every question he was looking at a tablet like someone was writing him answers. Jesus Christ. Okay, I believe it, but... Oh, she posted in my Discord. Says, okay, alright, Author Goddess is fine. Alright, good, that's all I was checking, and she was in Greg's stream. Good. Okay. Good news. That's good to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that we check on each other. That's a good thing. As long as she's fine, we're good. Okay. Blue Sky Blackbird says, Texas gets attacked by sharks. Ooh, taking over since the infrastructure is broken. It all gets flooded. That's amazing. Moonflower says, also, you're allowed to complain. Your complaints are for you, and everyone has different problems. And Daz says, yes, I suggested she get clean snow off the roof to melt. Yeah, that's something... Look, guys, if you're in Texas, you know somebody else in Texas, and you know, you need help with making it through a couple of days of not having power in the snow. Like I said yesterday, Canadians are kind of taught this from the cradle, right? Because we might need to know, right? We have, I mean, let's face it, right? It's not that much colder where I am than it is, like, I'm in basically the Omak Valley, right? The Washington Valley there, the Okanagan, that's where I am. So my weather's more like that than anything. But, and it doesn't magically stop just because the border happens. But because a lot of our country is really cold, we are taught, all these little things, right? We learn them in Girl Guides, we learn them in school, so, ask us, and we probably have great suggestions. Bo, forget, what is his, he's an anarchist. What's his, he has a YouTube channel. I know a bunch of you watch him too. I forget what the actual channel name is. Please tell people, right? He did a great video yesterday about survival tips in the cold. He suggested put a tent in a room in your house, which is like, as far away from the doors as you can get it, because less drafty, right? So like your central room, right? Or, a room that, the warmest room in the house, go there, put a tent in it, because then you're conserving heat in just the tent, and you can survive in minus 40 Celsius there, right? If you need to. So, yeah. Fifth column, Bow of the fifth column. Thank you. That's the one. Excuse me just a second. Big crash. I had to check and make sure everybody was okay. That Geeks Anonymous has a good point. Yes, I live in Maine. We're used to this, but down there they just aren't prepared. That's the problem. That's the problem. They don't have the infrastructure. And, okay, on one hand, they are rightfully being criticized as not meeting the national standards to support the infrastructure for this, just in case, because they're not, and they have no incentive to, so they're not doing it. And this wouldn't have happened if they had met the national standards, but because they've specifically made their power grid so that it doesn't cross state lines or interact with the national grid at all, they don't have to answer to the federal government on the standards. So yes, they should be criticized. Yes, they should be criticized for not having, some kind of reserve plan or fund, especially since this happened in 2011, apparently. I just learned. I did not realize that something like this had happened in 2011 in Texas. They should have had a plan from that point. Yes, they're right to be criticized, but I also understand why they don't, right? Like, if you get hurricanes, you're not usually concerned about blizzards, So, yes, candles throw off an amazing amount of heat too. Yes, I have used candles to heat my house when my heat was cut off in the winter. I've done that, right? And it was the same thing, because my heat is natural gas, right? So I had power, but I had no heat, right? So yeah, you get candles going, especially them big pillar candles. But if all you've got is emergency candles or tea lights or whatever, one of the reasons why they exist is to provide heat in an emergency. And just don't burn them in your tent, right? If you pitch the tent, put them outside the tent in like safe areas, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to shut up about that now. Yeah. People in Maine will also have good advice because they do get blizzards. Most people in Maine have a generator or know where they can access one, and it's because they get blizzards there. Right. Thank you for contributing to the Boost the Stream challenge, guys. I appreciate it. That's great. All right, let's get to work because it's 1:15, shall we? I'm doing some editing today. I'm starting with updating my timeline for the novels where I am at. And then once I am done that, I am going on to doing, it's a second pass edit for the second book in the series. So, but I've just kind of, like, remember that the second book is kind of taken from what was parts of the first book and parts of the second book. So currently the part where I'm editing was the beginning of what I thought was going to be the second book, but it's actually now chapter 6 of the new book, right? The story between. And it was absolutely right for Brent Harris, who did the editing on that, the first round of edits, to tell me that the first story probably ended earlier than I thought I did. The second bit was the start of the second story, and he's right. So, but I'm finding it hard because I have babies in there I have to murder. So, really good descriptions of things that, I thought were put very well and explained things that were important, but now I have to move them. So, I'm not sure where to move them or whether to just cut them, so I'm kind of agonizing over it. So that's what I'll be doing today. What are you guys working on? Yeah, blankets over windows and doors to keep the cold out. Yeah, if you can find it, plastic taped over with duct tape. Even garbage bags or recycling bags will work. I suggest recycling bags as opposed to garbage bags if you have them, because the clear plastic will then allow in light, and light actually provides a fair amount of heat. Especially when you don't have power in your house, you kind of want some ambient light from the windows, right? So, Moonflower says, I don't get blizzards every year or anything, but we do get bitter cold without the snow every year without fail. It got to below 20 Fahrenheit one year, and kerosene heaters are 100% good for that. Yes, they are. Yeah, just make sure they're in a well-ventilated area, right? Question, says Kayatan, how to make my World Anvil world more interactive and engaging for the readers? That's a good question. I don't know. There are a lot of different, that's a big question. There's a lot of different approaches you can take. If the chat has any suggestions, feel free. I kind of like Daz's idea of picking a character and making them sort of a voice for the whole thing. I'm considering doing that with Aaron's character Selnaris Kimarne, right? Or possibly Alessander Tremaine, which was a character of mine, or both, because they're both known for the books they write on things. Selnar is sort of a sociologist, and Alessander's sort of a naturalist, right? So between the two of them, I'm sure I could do that. But the problem is they both write in a very dry style, and I don't really know if I want all my articles written like that. I think the Wikipedia format kind of works best for me, with quotes here and there. Quotes are a good way. Apparently, quotes really give people a sense of your world. Yep, that's another option. Yeah, and if anybody has any other suggestions in the chat, throw them in. That's what I can think of off the top of my head. You could do choose your own adventure format stories using subscriber groups. That's an option. Amelie says, I'll go back to my dead language article as soon as my omelet is finished cooking. I'm looking forward to my dead language article too. I'm probably going to do that on Sunday. I have one that is important and needs to be written about, so I'm kind of excited about it. James is editing a script for FS. Okay. Or editing an article on forestry harvesting. Okay. Emily says, I also need to fill my World Anvil world meta. Yeah. I haven't gotten there yet because I already kind of did that in the Agile world building with an introduction article, and I just haven't had I haven't felt like moving it. So. If there's dice roll involved, use roll command. Use dice as well to tell the story. No, not Belvarn. I do not need Belvarn to tell the story. He would be all over the place. It would be like reading an ADD nightmare. No, I do not need that. Alright. And I see the less talk, more right. Oh, future scene. It's like me saying TS for toy soldiers. Fair enough. Okay, I'm getting to work. Let's do it. Okay, I'm up to chapter 29. Good, I thought I was getting close. Where is the edit thing for this whole article? I know it has one. There it is. I'm going to throw this out here. This timeline is my timeline of this particular novel, right? And it's a private timeline. I highly recommend that this is one of the things that can really benefit you as a tool that's available in World Anvil if you're a writer, right? Because for a lot of reasons. One is that it helps you to keep track of the timeline of events in your own head, which I'm no good at without artificial aids, so this is very helpful to me. The other thing is that, it gives you a quick reference for significant events in your book. And the fact is, if it doesn't warrant a timeline entry, like if it's not important enough to put on the timeline, you shouldn't have it written in your book, right? It shouldn't be a chapter. You should summarize it because, you only put significant events in a timeline, and you should only put significant events in your book, right? If it's not significant, it's, why waste pages on it? Oh, I did the Battle of Manannan Station. Oh, and I did the Battle of Arianrhod. Okay. Okay, good. That might be my military conflict for next year's World Ember, the Battle of Arianrhod. Because that's an interesting one. Alright, that's the last one there was. Alright, that was chapter 29. Actually, this is what I want to... Incidentally, I'm considering going an hour later today. If that is something you would like to see, let me know. I don't know who's on after me, though. Oh, Twinkle's on after me. Okay, no, I don't want to cut into Twinkle's time, then. if this actually exists. I don't think it does. It might be the all around the space name, I gotta check it. Great, perfect, it's not, I made it up. Good, good, good. Good for me. Okay, I don't need that one anymore. Ignore that one for the moment. Okay. There we go. I don't want this as a separate window. I want it in the... There we go. Fuck. I do not need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. Oh, I do need that though. Okay. Now. Okay, right. And I need the Avalonian calendar. Do I still have that up? No. That's what I need, my calendar converter. Now, did I change the date on this? Alright, that's the first sprint. Looks like I spent it mostly getting organized. How did you guys do? Emily says, I had to do timelines for my stories too. Yeah, I find it can be very helpful. Since I have events happening at specific times, I have to keep track of how much time, separate them, and make sure my characters are actually doing something during that time. Yeah, I kind of need to keep track of it for a couple of reasons. One is that I need to have the war happen within a realistic period of time, right? And certain events have an effect on the ages, like the ages of people during certain events are important, so I need to make sure that's consistent, right? The other thing is that I need to do some development in book 2. That's one of the things I'm going to be working on today, trying to figure out what the supporting characters were doing during the main timeline that the protagonist is doing, right? Because they're important, right? Like they were really important in the first book, and then they wavered in importance in the second book, and part of that is because we started focusing on what one character in particular was doing, and he has no idea what any of the other characters are doing, right? So, but I've had a critique that it feels like the character's set up and been lost right? So I'm considering that. And the truth is, I realized in the third book, I kind of need to use one of these secondary characters as a foil for kind of counteracting the narrative that the protagonist has going on with himself, right? So, yeah. So for all these reasons, I need to know, right? And I'm terrible at this shit, so I need to map it. Emily says, all right, food done and eaten, now I can write. Excellent. Crash in the background, says Daz. Yep. Aaron's having a dropsy day, I think, which will not be good because that tends to make him frustrated. And I can see why. It's snowing. He's probably really sore. Daz says, more scribbling on paper. Excellent. James says, nearly done with article for script. Also excellent. Hello, Stretch. Good to see you. Welcome to the gathering. Emily says, my first book is about courtship rituals that take place during the equinoxes and solstices, so I had to fill the months in between. Not necessarily. You can skip over that period of time if it's not important to the story. Just, make sure to touch base on anything that is important to the story. It's really okay to skip huge stretches of time. Emily says, my second book is about a teacher, so I had to keep track of all the lectures and practicals. Yeah, legit. I get that for sure. Alright, I'm actually caught up with the chat, holy crap. Moonflower says, I'm trying to make the dead language article, but it's hard. Languages are not my forte. This isn't my showcase day there, Stretch, just so you know. Right? Stretch says, I have started writing a new plot story, just an excerpt for now, but want to have a sneak preview. Yeah, I think I'd better say no, hon. I do want to have a look, but I really kind of want to keep this the get writing shit done day, and I don't want to open it up to, let's peek at this, let's peek at that, right? Because it'll get out of hand. But send it to me in the Discord, though, because I definitely do want to have a look, right? I just can't do it today. I think I gotta make a firm policy about that, because last week I got very distracted. So I'm far too eager to socialize and look at what other people are doing as opposed to getting my own shit done. I mean, that's cool. I like seeing what people are doing. So yeah. You want to showcase it, though, I'll be happy to do that on Sunday, or if I'm on Aaron's stream on Saturday, I could do that. Right, so. Emily says, yes, that's what I've done. Hopefully a good balance of show and tell to make the time go by more quickly when I need to. You'll DM it to me. Okay, excellent. That's great. Thank you very much. Yes, I would like to have a look. Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. Amelie, sounds like you've got it in hand. Alright, that's the Dragon of Productivity. Let's get back to work. I'm going to try something in the second hour, which is interesting, by the way, for me. I'm going to... I don't know, I was kind of half listening to the radio on this thing on decluttering, which I'm like, yeah, I really need to do that, but I'm terrible at it, right? And somebody suggested using an ironing board as a standing desk. And I was like, what a great idea. Because I spend a lot of time sitting and it gets very uncomfortable. And I've been looking for a standing desk for years, but I'm 5 feet tall, right? They don't make standing desks in my size. But an ironing board, right? I mean, why didn't I think of that? It's perfect. You can make it any height you want. You can fold it up and get it out of your fucking way when you don't need it. I was like, that's brilliant. So I haven't had an ironing board for years. I don't iron clothes. I don't believe in it. I own an iron, but the rarity in which I iron, I can use my cutting board for that. Right? So I asked Mom if she had an ironing board she was looking to get rid of anyway, so I have it. And I thought, maybe I'll set it up for like hour or two so that I can move around. Alright. Okay. It's a new historical entry. And I think I was moving back my timeline. The problem is I forgot because I had to stop working on my timeline for Nano. And this is the first I've gotten back to it. What was the date I put? See, this is why. Okay, it was still the 20. I must be peeling things back a bit. Yeah, I'm obviously winding back the clock. Okay. Although I think that Green Moon is right after Storm Moon is, yeah, it is, okay. Maybe I did intend for it to be Green Moon, in which case I have to change the date on this. Ah. Oh, hey, I forgot I can do all that shit now. Alright. Well, related characters. Wow, it's up the sprint already? That went fast. How'd you guys do? Alright, Moonflower says, Mom's making a new recipe for dinner. I'm excited to try it. That's cool. Oh, I have a new follow and I didn't even see. Hello, Ron Weasley 1. Cool name. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. It's awesome. Emily says, for my dead language, I'm just making 2 sections. One about the history, talking about the people who used to speak it and why the language became dead, and another section about the modern usage and impact of the language. Cool. DM Stretch says, Saturday I'll be streaming my ASC game. Cool, I'm glad that's finally happening. Sunday I'm playing in a recorded D&D game. That's cool too. Alright. Oh no, Sunday should be daytime, not evening. Okay. Emily says, oh, an ironing board, you can change the height and it's a lot cheaper too. Yeah, no doubt. I don't know why I didn't think of it. I think it's brilliant. Siobhan says, I have 2 ironing boards and a large one and a small one and an iron. Emily says, I have a board and an iron and I've never used either. Moonflower says, I have a standing desk that is adjustable and is perfect, but it costs like $600. You know, if I could even find one of those, I would have paid $600. But I could not. Moonflower says, so ironing board is a good idea if you have a small computer. Yeah, or if you have one of these, which, you know, is wireless keyboards and a big screen so that you can, like, stand back from the computer and type on the wireless keyboard, which is my plan. Which I haven't done yet. I haven't set it up yet, so this will be an experiment. It's just I finally got it, and I'm going to do it. Or is there a food fight going on from Greg's stream there, Daz? That's okay. Emily says, when I went back home after my PhD, I asked my mother for a course on how to iron stuff, and I helped her a bit with that, but standing in front of it too long kills my back. And she has food. I started my article about food in my world. I've written all the headlines for now. That's awesome. In regards to bog butter, this was for Daz, but Philosophy with Writer Greg, Episode 1. Should I play it? Greg won't mind if I play his stuff on my stream. James finished up military spreadsheet and finished script article. Excellent. AG has water again. That is good to hear. Thank you for the report, Siobhan. I'm glad to hear that she does. That's great. Daz finished her scribbles. Now to do housework. Bye. Oh no. That sucks. Emily says, I've written a presentation of my world that I've put on my world homepage. That's awesome. Makara says, so I tried to find every article I hadn't read yet. I got to 52 and it was supposed to be 56, so I missed 4. I'm impressed as hell that you're reading it, Makaro. I never have time. I try, right? This is why I actually like showcases a lot, because then I get to see what you're doing. Right. All right, let's hear what Philosophy with Writer Greg. I'm very curious. So this is a clip that was clipped by James from his stream. Hopefully my music will not drown it out. Hopefully it'll actually load the damn thing too. Sometimes I have problems with videos on this. Should check my frame rate here. Oh, there's a growl. Okay, so we're going to go 30 seconds into the sprint, and then I'm actually going to put on a break timer so that I can go and get my ironing board and give it a try.
3,000-year-old bog butter is still edible? Sorry. Edible and the ability to be eaten and the desire to eat are two separate things.
Yes, they are. That is great. Thanks for sharing that, James. I think that's hilarious. All right. Oh. Okay. Next time I'll just bookmark every... Oh, okay. Just a second here. Kayatan says, I decided to make self-assigning groups in my world which will have access to additional articles and stories. That's cool. Okay, I didn't understand your question and what you meant, right? Yeah, I've got self-assigning groups now too, right? And once you've read the books, you can click on that self-assigning group in my community hub, and then you get access to all the information that would be spoilers if you had not, right? So, read that book. Makaro says, I still need to wrap them up, bookmark them so I won't lose them again. Emily says, by the way, Sable, could you please give me the link to your hero article? Again, I forgot to give you a like last time. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And this happens to be it right here, actually. So I'll just put it in the chat. Thank you very much. If, if you're inclined. It's a long article, I won't lie. And I didn't do a lot of fancy columns or CSS or anything like that because it was important I get the information across, right? Makara says, technically I skip about a third because I don't read right, so I skip. I found that when I was judging the birthday challenge. Yeah. Sable, question, do you have any recommendations for creating a matriarchy or matrilineal society? We will get that in the next break. Are you on work break, Barbarossa? Tell me now, because then I know how long to tailor my answer for, because this could be a long one, right? And in which case, I might have to suggest that we do it on another stream when I have more time to chat, right? But I can also give you a Reader's Digest condensed point form version, or a Cliff Notes version even. So... You're welcome. I still have your spell it with a U clip, says James. That's hilarious. I think it's great. It's Magic Earth, says Kayatan. That's great. His world that he's creating. I'm lost without my hundreds of tabs. Me too. I made mine more of the roleplay. Readers can choose to which group they belong. That's cool, Kayatan. Ginger. You are working. And it's only a 15-minute. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So, yes, the first question is, are you intending to prove a point about the disadvantages of patriarchy? Because often what people do is they just reverse everything. I actually have a society that is like that, and I intend it that way. I know Emily says I hate it, but my point is to illustrate the disadvantages of sexism in any form, right? I also have matrilineal societies that are perfectly fine. Okay, different. Matriarchy, women rule. Usually eldest women rule, mothers rule, okay? That's what the word means, right? Matrilineal means they trace the descent through the mother. My orcs are like that. They are patriarchy with a matrilineal inheritance. It's complicated, and it's kind of fun, right? So, okay. So first of all, please, here's my pet peeve. Do not overcompensate because you think women are smaller and weaker. Men who write matriarchies always do that. Don't fucking do that. if we decided that we wanted to band together and be in charge, it doesn't matter that you're physically stronger than us. We could figure out ways to do it, especially in this technological age, right? And maybe it's not enforced. Good night, James. Sleep well, right? Maybe it's just a tradition. Maybe people genuinely believe that the power of life is created from women and therefore women should be in charge. Or maybe they believe that men are unreasonably violent and the power and therefore women should be in charge. That has been a thing that has existed several times in our society, usually because testosterone turns teenage boys into psychopaths. And they're all psychopaths. Of course, teenage girls are all, they all have bipolar disorder pretty much for 5 years. Present company not excluded. So, yeah. So, maybe it's enforced by tradition, right? Maybe it doesn't need to be enforced. Okay, this is a bird society based off various societies where meritocracy, tribalism is a large part. While women are larger and have more pronounced claws, males play a vital part in resource gathering and farming. Okay, so basically it sounds like a reverse gender role thing. Expectations of genders are pretty much exactly reversed. So without overt, abusive sexism, right? You could, just keep in mind, women are supposed to be better at nurturing in our society, which is utter horseshit. But, that's a stereotype, right? So that stereotype could be present, right? Men are supposed to be physically weaker, right? So there are those in our society who assume that because women are on average, right, not as strong in the upper body, that women are always going to lose in any fight, and that women know nothing about combat, and the patronization is fucking irritating, let me tell you, right? So, but this could be a stereotype that exists towards men in your society, right? And, maybe men would have difficulty getting people to take them seriously and train them in matters of combat and tactics, which is true of being a woman in our society trying to get trained in combat and tactics, right? So, okay, that is a much more complicated question, and I think at this point we better leave that for another day, Barbarossa. I can't help you in 5 minutes, which is all that I'm willing to do on my Diane Actually Writes day. So let's talk about it on Sunday. Come by. Oh, and don't be sorry. I'm just trying to set some boundaries, that's all. It's not your fault, and I appreciate your questions. It's just today's not the day, right? For something that complicated, because that's complex. And I love it. I love the question. And I'd love to get into it more. So let's do it. Okay, we got a date. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to put on a break timer. I'm going to go get my standing desk, aka my ironing board. As I always do, please feel free to use it as a sprint timer. I will be doing the same if I have time when I get back, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. I am back and working in the background. I'm afraid I won't have my standing desk. It turns out it's covered in snow because it was outside. Because I brought it home and it never made it in the house. Damn it. Oh, good night, Cayetan. Sleep well. Stretch, if you want a fully illuminated drop cap in a box, then I recommend getting graphics, right? Because you can find graphics that are an entire illuminated series and just replace your first letter in the paragraph or in the article with an image. I've actually done that for PDF documents. Great minds think alike, I guess. And that is the sprint. I'm going to keep the break timer up for the chat here for just a minute. How did everybody else do? I had a frustrating sort of break. DM Stretch is working on the font for his world. Moonflower had some really good suggestions to help with that. Bunch of people went to bed. But hey, I get it. It's fairly late in the UK and in Europe. Oh, thanks for the hug, Moonflower. It's just, I'm very sore today. I was looking forward to an opportunity to use my standing desk, but yeah, it's all covered in snow and ice, so now I have to thaw it out before I can use it. Next time, I guess. Emily says, I've finalized the intro on my world homepage. That is awesome. Weirdwin woke up. Rawr! Good to see you, Weirdwin. Moonflower says, I've just been looking at drop cap fonts for a long time. Yeah, it's part of the process, right? Everybody's, you gotta... How things look has a bearing on how they feel, and it's actually much more important when you're presenting your stuff to the world than you might think, especially if you're going to do it commercially. Right? Amelie says, I should probably go to bed soon, but I don't want to. You don't have to. You can hang out. You probably should go to bed. You're probably exhausted. Moonflower got to 100 words on their dead language article, which is excellent. And hello, Jedi Saboteur. I was in Jedi Saboteur's stream last night for the first time. Dropped a follow. He's a writer. I will point you in his direction here. He was writing horror, which is always nice. There's a shortage of that, I find, among Twitch writers. Made me... I haven't done a lot of horror, but I've done a little, because basically, if it's speculative fiction of some variety, I have done it. Right? So I went and had a look at an old horror story of mine, and I wondered if I should do something with it. So... And that is his channel. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Sounded interesting. I'm always in for, creepy, fun parks and things like that. Yeah. So that gets my attention for sure. Also, he's reading back some of what he wrote in the course of the stream, and he's got a lovely voice. So, real nice to listen to. Okay, Moon. No problem. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. If there's something related to writing or World Anvil or RPGs, feel free to drop their link in the chat so that people can check that out too. I don't mind, Anyway, this is my break timer I've got up here. Jedi, and I'm going to be going to my sprint timer in a few minutes. I can't run late today, I am afraid. I said I might run late today, and I can't. I'm going to have to send people off to another stream that is scheduled. I don't want to cut into their time because they're a good supporter of the channel. Right? But I will point them in your direction. I haven't done much straight horror writing, says Jedi, so it's nice to take kind of a left turn. Oh, that's cool. My regular work is more what I call anime and text. Well, you'll find an audience for that here. People like that kind of thing. We're a big bunch of nerds here, too, so... Weirdwin says, speaking of horror, I got a cool review yesterday. That's awesome. I love Wynn's writing, but I can't read it often. Wynn's descriptions are so vivid and descriptive they give me nightmares. That is awesome. What a great review. I found that Gemma Files writing is like that. I love her Hexslinger series, but it's creepy as fuck. And sometimes I just have to put it down and go, yeah! Alright, that is the Dragon of Productivity demanding sacrifice. We're going to get back to work. Whatever you're working on, feel free to join in with me. We're going to put up the sprint timer and go back to a screen where you can see me and what I'm doing. If it clicks on the damn thing, there we go. And I'm going to keep working on my timeline. All right. So, I'll refresh this. No. What are you doing? Okay. Well, that should refresh that anyway. No, it didn't, so... All right. There we go. Oh! I didn't know it did that! Haha, well, isn't that neat? I did not know that did that. I guess when you add in important characters or important organizations that are related to the event, it adds little graphics and circles for you. I did not know it did that. Normally, because I haven't been using those tags, so... Well, now I'm going to have to go back and fix all that. Okay. Let's do it quick then. Alright, where are we here? This is the Battle of Arianrod, right? Yes, the Battle of Arianrod. Okay. Related characters. No, Madrimlian wasn't there. Golden Bow. Is he there? No, he wasn't there. I can get rid of him. Okay, good. Shandar was, though. Bah, I'll screw with this some other time. New historical entry. First, 11th month. Year 350 from the founding. Queen's Dirk is assigned to pursue an unusual ship poking around the collision system and sink her, burn her, or take her as a prize. That is good enough. We do not need any more information than that here. I should reconsider my tagging system, I think. Did I make any of these other entries public? I don't know that I did. I made the timeline private. Yeah, I made it private. Okay. I'm such a dense... Ugh. Should just leave this open as a template. What were the groups I used? Bosun's Masters. Okay. Well, that's taken a while to load. Okay. Alright, now next. Did I even put the damn... No, I didn't, did I? My brain is really just not connecting today. Okay, I need to copy this piece of information right here. At 4 o'clock, I'll run another break/sprint timer, I think. That's in about 15 minutes. Well, yeah, I'll do it after the next sprint, I guess. And then I will start working on my editing instead of updating the timeline. So I can get a little bit of that done too. So we want that there. There we go. Make sure you save, guys, while you're working on your projects. So are you working with us today, Jedi? And what are you working on today? If you're doing sprints with us and whatnot. By the way, I'm in the Pacific time zone too, which you probably just figured out by my estimation of time. So, that is handy. When you say you're going to be on, that's when you're on in my part of the world. That's a good thing. Which reminds me, he will be starting his stream at 6 o'clock PST, which that's a little over 2 hours from now. So, let's see, 6 o'clock is 2 a.m. GMT. There we go. Alright. You know what? I'm going to move on to my editing from here, because this is the logical place to stop. Because I, you know, would be breaking down part 6 from this point. So let's do that. I'll go to my other manuscript. The timeline is a process, right? Just gotta make sure it's done before September for the first book. Well, before, like, July is more accurate. Alright, we are editing to Know Your Enemy. By the way, what do you other Anvilites think of this new bit here? Continue working is the last article you were working on, and go to is the last article you looked at. I personally find it handy as hell. I really like it. Ah, and that's the sprint. All right, so how'd people do? Weirdwin says most animes start as light novels, so you're in good company, Jedi. Yeah, Weirdwin does sort of that kind of thing too, although her stuff tends to be more in the, you know, yeah. The adult side of anime, let's say. So, Jedi says, awesome, the writing community is pretty solid on Twitch. I'm glad I took the step. Me too. I started streaming writing less than a year ago, and immediately the Twitch Writers Network flooded in and, you know, gave me all kinds of support. And then, of course, because I'm one of these World Anvil people, the Anvilite community flooded in and gave me a bunch of support. And what I really like about it is that when you're doing your writing, when you're doing it on stream like this, or when you're in somebody else's stream, it's like being at a write-in for Nano, right? You're with people and you're all working on your own thing, but you're working together, and it makes a normally solitary activity a lot less lonely in the modern age, and I really enjoy that. I think that there's a lot to be said for that. Throughout history, we have all kinds of examples of a bunch of writers coming together to write, you know, and bounce ideas off each other and work in the same space, and some great things have happened from that, like, you know, when the Shelleys got together with Lord Byron and a couple of their other friends. And I mean, come on. Out of that, we got Frankenstein, and we got poetry about vampires from Lord Byron, and it's amazing, right? And their prompt, right, was that they were going to write a creepy story, right? That's, you know, right? The Inklings, right, which gave us C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien, right? So there could be some real good stuff coming out of this ferment that we're doing here, guys. Can you imagine if all us Twitch writers were all really successful because of the way in which we're working together? That would be really exciting. Well, I'm in the timeline, says Siobhan. Of course you are, because Madrimlian, your character, is very important to the plot. So, and historical events. Hey, Raven, good to see you. Raven says, Jedi's a solid streamer. Catch them if you get the chance, usually later in the day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed his stream last night. I'm glad Coffee twigged me to him. Coffee Quills is really good at that, finding other writers and connecting us. I'm all about trying to support other writers on Twitch too, so I usually go check out her recommendations, and 90% of the time I follow, right? So, you know, yeah. Jedi's been programming all day. By the way, I love the name Jedi Saboteur. That's great. Yeah, I'm working on a web platform for small writing projects. That's awesome. What a cool idea. You'll have to tell us more. I don't have a link, Jail, so if you have a link that you want to share, feel free to do that. Oh, okay. Stretch got the drop cap thing and is happy now. Awesome. It's very handy, says Emily. Stretch says, not liking the new saved notifications. Yeah, you were expressing that yesterday, and I understand. I personally like it, but I get why you don't. Let's see. Moon is back. Hey, Moonflower. What happened to the other streamer? They canceled or something? I'm kind of disappointed for you. Emily says, except that the article I worked on and the last article I saw are always the same, so I didn't figure the difference until you just explained it. Neither did I until, like, fairly recently, actually, so. Hey, it's not all like that. Honest, says Weirdowin of her work. I know, it's not all like that. And so what? It's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Write what you like. Other people like it too. Siobhan said, that would be cool. Yes, it would. Jedi says, I think Coffee or Atanshi were one of the first into his stream. Yep. I just couldn't pay attention very well and figured I would be more useful here. Well, Moon, I have days like... I'm a little distracted today, obviously. I'm sore. It's snowing. It was a big shift to the barometer. That tends to be hard on me, especially my lower spine, and my chair is not comfortable, and it's distracting. But I'm here. I'm doing my work. I'm honestly the same, says Moon. I hear ya. Hips are bugging Siobhan today. Yeah. But, I mean, writer's right. And sometimes, you know, any little bit you get done is something you didn't have done before, right? So I actually am getting stuff done today. Apparently we're all ragged, says Jedi. Yeah, totally would not be surprised. You're probably a little hungover from yesterday, I think. I don't know, I'm making an assumption there, but I'm getting back to work now. We're back in a 15-minute sprint. I will occasionally check the chat, but probably I'll see you in 15 minutes. So, let's see. Like I said, I'm working on this. This used to be the beginning of book 2. It is now chapter 6 of book 2, which has been shortened, and there's a book 3 because that's where the separate aspects of the story were. So I'm kind of rewriting it so it doesn't sound like an opening. Okay, I know where I'm cutting something. I do not need this scene at all. No, that's actually too much information. The reader does not require it. Goodbye. Flush! And we'll flush one of these while we're at it. Did I even put this whole novel in here? No, I didn't, so... Okay, in that case I can move this down to the bottom without having to flush it. And we'll call this 5-3. Okay, and then that way, this scene is less of a opening bit because we haven't talked about Madrimlian yet. 20 in Navy. Did I leave it up? No, I closed it down, didn't I? Because I'm a dipshit. Alright. I also don't need that open anymore. What did I do wrong here? I did something wrong. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay. And that has already been discussed, so I can delete that. I'm going to edit this while I remember what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I did there. Ah, that's the sprint. Well, I was concentrating pretty hard. How do you all do? All right. Jedi says, I had plenty of water before bed, more tired from staying up to play Control and Battlefront, to be honest. Hello, Rogue Writer. Good evening from Central Time, they say. Good luck with writing, everyone. Good to see you, Rogue. Saboteur is going to take out some recycling and hydrate. Jedi is, so that's great. Okay, see you in a minute. Languages are not locations, says Moonflower. Just put the language article in the locations category on accident. Very frustrating. Did you load the frickin' page? Yeah, you did. Okay, fine. It is apparently being slow today. Okay, structure is what I needed. Although I'm going to wait until the sprint is started again to actually do it. Okay. So what I need to do is move the midshipman image to second lieutenant, and okay. Thinking out loud. Okay, Siobhan is off for a bath. See you soon. Aw. Rogue says, we're ill-equipped for this winter storm, so my internet is constantly going down. I've missed the writing streams. Are you also in Texas? Makara says, okay, I read German articles, but Polish I did not expect. Long live Google Translate. There's actually a fairly large Polish community I have discovered here on World Anvil, and the reason why I know that is because Kajetan is Polish. So, he usually puts his articles, though, where he translates the Polish on one side, he's got Polish on one side and English on the other, which I find very helpful. And I'll use Google Translate too, because I am afraid of missing something cool. Google Translate works. I can usually figure out the gist of what you're saying, even if the language is significantly different from English. And let's face it, Google Translate is not, sometimes not the best software. But it sure is better than nothing. So, really cool stuff that it does that. Thanks, Rogue, for contributing to the Boost the Stream challenge. I appreciate that. Right? And thank you also for the save and the Hail Hydrate. It auto-saves, but I will definitely Hail Hydrate. Jedi says, one of my cats is just sitting in a litter box. Maybe they think they might have to go, but they're not sure. So they're waiting because they didn't trust a fart. I don't know. Emily says, I just spent a minute trying to spell ancient. The worst is that it's exactly the same in French. Yeah, without the T I meant to add. Yeah, it is. It is, ancien? Yeah. Like, yeah, I get you. Rogue says, focused, thank you. Oh, was the stream not focusing? Probably wasn't, because it was trying to load the page and it was having issues. Emily says, looking at a picture of ancient books for my dead language article now. That's cool. Rogue Rider says, close. I'm on the border of Texas and Arkansas. We're literally snowed in since we have no way to clear the roads. Oh my god. It's finally starting to melt, but deep freeze tonight, so it'll turn to ice. I know. Oh, I've asked how are you doing. I said focused. I'm glad you're focused, Rogue. That's great. Oh my god, yeah. I know all about icy roads living in Canada, for sure. So be careful driving around, especially since I doubt anybody in your part of the world has winter tires. So, and good evening, Atanchi. How are you? Glad you made it to the stream. We are just about to start another 15-minute sprint. I hope you are doing well. Alright, chilling after dinner. That's cool. We will promise. Okay, cool. Glad to hear that. Yeah, and Stretch says, I literally cannot seem to just write an article without touching the CSS. Aaron has discovered CSS now. He's like, crawling up his own CSS bunghole. It's pretty amazing. He's like, how do you do this? How do you do that? I told him, and then he's like, and he reached the limit of what I knew, and I went, I don't know, and then he's like, okay, and then now he's off and running, and next time I want to do something in CSS, I would just ask him, because he'll probably know. Watching Ethereum depth chart, says Atanshi, and Atanshi says, I know CSS will poke me. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Got it looking quite nice now, says Stretch. That's excellent. Good to hear, guys. Thanks, Itanchi, for the suggestion. I probably will at some point. I'll point him in your direction, too. I am going to get on the sprint here, because I have to make this edit, first of all. And then I'm going to go back to my other article for edits. I don't know how the fuck I screwed that up. This is what I get for doing these things when I'm tired. I mean, this kind of stuff in particular. Some things you can do when you're tired. This kind of, like, listicle stuff, I cannot. And I should learn not to try. saved. Now let's see if that turns out right on the sheet. This is my reference sheet for my maybe. Oh shit, I gotta get some stuff together, okay. Chaotic is starting on my cover art in like a couple of days, yay! But I gotta get my references together for her. Hurry the hell up, stupid thing. Okay, yes. Alright, we're fixed now, good. Gotta make sure the rank insignias are right. Okay. Now, back to my story. And there is one of the secrets of my series, if you just read the end of that chapter. Let's try basic edit bullshit first. And that's the sprint. How'd everybody else do? What's everyone else working on? Let's see. Emily says, I'll have to alter the nice picture of the Library of Dublin University because they have writing on the bookshelves and my world doesn't use the Latin alphabet. I rejected a picture of an old library for the same reason. And I would do the same. Either alter it or just not use it. Yeah, because I'm that picky. Emily says, with how often I'm altering images, I really should invest in the incommensurable effort it would take me to get my graphic tablet from the living room. Yeah, you might. Hello, Twinkle. Good to see you. How was your nap? Good to know what you're about. You going to be ready to go in about half an hour for your stream? Nap was good. Excellent. I was doing food progress. Food progress is also good. One must eat. The brighter machinery here requires fuel. Yes, I will indeed. Okay, that's excellent. Good stuff. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, good to see you on the schedule proper, by the way. It looks like there's about an hour on the schedule in between you and coffee. If you've not checked him out yet, I promised, I told him that if I went late today, I was going to raid him, but I didn't because I'm not going late today because you're on. So, plus I'm sore and I'm just not up to it, quite frankly. So, here, this is Jedi Saboteur. If I can spell the frickin' thing right. There we go. Yep, good, I got it right. You might want to check him out when you're done your stream, because it's an hour between you and coffee. And, you know, he's kind of cool. Oh, you know him. Okay, that's great. Twinkle just did your scheduling this morning. Well, excellent. It was really easy to look. I like that, knowing when you're going to be on, specifically, so that I can plan accordingly. So that is a good thing. Some big slots starting to open up here, right? On the ASC schedule. Yeah, those of you who aren't familiar with the Anvilite Streamer Core, there's the link. We can check out our streaming schedule. Everything on there has something to do with world building in some way, shape, or form. We have world builders, artists, writers, role-playing game designers and players, right? Just a whole variety of stuff related to that. So definitely check it out. Got about a minute before the next sprint. We've got about half an hour left to the stream, so 2 more sprints. Just followed Jedi Saboteur. It looks like I've got about a minute's worth of lag here. Holy shit, guys. I'm looking forward to my Monday stream. I'm a bit hyped about it. Yes, yes. Twinkle will be reading their first novel, Reaper, on starting on Monday. I'm also looking forward to it. I can't wait to check it out. Thank you for doing that, by the way, because that will allow me to, like, because my time is so limited for reading, but not for listening, so that way I can hear your work. All right, I'm getting back to work for the sprint. Astromancers, that's it. Okay. And that's the sprint. And how'd you guys do? Obviously, I was really concentrating. So Twinkle says, I might be raiding you later to Jedi. Jedi says, I'll try to pretend I know what I'm doing. That's awesome. Does anybody know what they're doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I do my thing. Sometimes people like to hang out with me while I do my thing. Sometimes people like to ask me questions about writing too, but this is not the stream for it. And I do my thing. So, it's all good. Yep, exactly. And then I advance the chat and Twinkle says, no worries, pretty sure none of us do know what we're doing. I mean, yep, 100%. Makara read a French article and liked it. That's excellent. Well, we have about 10 minutes to go here, gang. Which isn't really time for another sprint. I keep dropping internet again. I hope to be back later. That's okay, Rogue. In a few minutes I end anyway, and we're gonna go raid Twinkle Toes. So catch up with us on Twinkle's stream. It's fine. Good luck. Moonflower has been sitting here browsing Reddit because I can't seem to do anything else. I have those days where I just cannot focus. I finally got into the digital morphine here. Bonus. I do, I have those days. You know what I do in those days when I want to get shit done? Is I watch stuff that, or I read stuff that inspires me for what I'm working on. Right? Especially good if I've already read it or seen it. And then that gets me daydreaming about what I'm working on. Right? Like for this novel series, I'll read the Vorkosigan saga again. I'll, I don't know, put on some space opera shows. I have to be up at 8-ish a.m. so I can't have much caffeine. Yeah, fair enough. That makes it rough. Well, Twinkle, maybe I'll check out a little early if you're ready to go up pretty quick. We've only got like 9 minutes left to the stream, technically. It's not really time for another sprint. And I really have to pee. I don't want to quit this close to the end of the stream, you know what I mean? I don't want to put up a break timer. So, Stretch says, hee, I just found out how to do a font outline in CSS. Not an outline border around the text, but an actual outlined lettering. Awesome! I cannot wait to find out how to do that. That is cool. Alright, I'm gonna get back into some working then. I guess we'll see out the end of this sprint, and then we will raid Twinkle Toes. Last one. Well, shit, Stretch. Don't give it to me now. Okay. Cool. Alright. I don't know where I'm going to put that for now. You know what? I'm going to put that in my conversation on Discord with my hubby. That's what I'll do. Because we're starting to exchange how to do CSS stuff back and forth. Alright. I'm pretty sure that Orcish is different there. Oh, I gotta edit this too, goddammit. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And that's the sprint. Alright. And how are people doing here? Twinkles up. Excellent. I've got my image, says Amelie. No Latin letter left in sight. Excellent. And it's already 1 a.m. here, so it sounds like bedtime for Amelie, I think. Stretch says, I just really want to share this one short paragraph. The morning sun rose slowly over the world. Well, it was Monday, and nobody wants to do anything in a hurry on Monday, not even the sun. The grayish light spilled softly into all the nooks and crannies of the land, eventually turning to a light yellowish hue once the sun had drunk its morning coffee. That is pretty cool. You could use some grammar edit on that, but that's not important. I like the metaphor quite a lot. The personification of the sun needing a cup of coffee on Monday morning is pretty awesome. Oh, that's neat. I'm writing a story that's very much inspired by Terry Pratchett's Discworld. This will be a totally oddball D&D one-shot. I can't wait to see it. Done, says Macaro. 219 articles checked. Jesus Christ. Blow my mind. And I think DM Stretch meant to tag Macaro. Did the stream start borking when I read that out? For anybody else, I'll read it again. The morning sun rose slowly over the world. Well, it was Monday, and nobody wants to do anything in a hurry on Monday, not even the sun. The grayish light spilled softly into all the nooks and crannies of the land, eventually turning to a light yellowish hue once the sun had drunk its morning coffee. It's pretty good. I like the metaphor a lot there, Stretch. Alright. So thanks for joining me today, gang. We're about to raid Twinkle Toes the Berserker. And I imagine that they will be doing some writing as well. I will see you again. Let's see. Erin is on tonight, which is technically Friday morning, midnight, PST, or 8 a.m. GMT on Friday with Write with Erin. He's also back tomorrow afternoon, Friday, 1 p.m. For Ask an Old GM. That would be 9 p.m. GMT. And we will probably both, we'll have to see how it works is that if everyone's asleep and I'm not doing anything, then I show up on Erin's Write with Erin stream on Saturday afternoon. That is why they call it Write with Erin and sometimes Diane. It starts at 2 o'clock PST, which is 10 p.m. GMT. And goes for about 2.5 hours. Alright, and if not, I'll be back on Sunday for Sable's World Forge, 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. GMT, and later, that runs about 3 hours, and then there's an hour and a half break, and then we do our Toy Soldiers Old School role-playing game in the Toy Soldiers Saga universe. Amelie is going to bed. Thanks for the hydrate, Hail Hydrate Moonflower, I appreciate it. All right, and have a good rest of your day or evening, my friends, and hopefully I will see you maybe later tonight, and if not, I'll see you on Sunday. Oh, and don't forget to shout, prepare to be boarded when you get there, because we are the Sable's Privateers. See you later, Jedi.